Good morning, everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to make a real food using only organic ingredients. We are making porcupine balls. Now, you might be saying, porcupine balls? What in the world are you talking about, Deb? Porcupine balls are meatballs with rice in them, and because they have rice in them, when they cook, the rice sticks out and looks like porcupine quills on your meatballs. I often make this meal on Mondays because it is a Crockpot meal, and Monday seems to be a good day to start out with a meal all ready to eat when you get home. Most of these organic foods you can buy at your local Aldi or some of your local grocery stores. They are basic ingredients and it is super simple to make. This recipe calls for 1 pound of organic hamburger. Then we need 1/3 cup of rice, a little spice, which we're going to talk about. 1/8 of a cup of organic milk. You can use whole milk or 2%. Then you're going to need 1 container of pasta sauce and an egg. Oh, don't forget that onion. 1 chopped onion. Now you can use a small one or a medium one, however much onion you like in your recipe. I mix this entire recipe in 1 bowl, and when I say bowl, I almost always use my large Pyrex mixing cup. It just seems to work out great. You got a handle to pour and a pour spout if you're making something that's liquidy, but it gives you something to hold on while you stir it. And so I've stopped using mixing bowls. They were just taking up space I didn't have. I'm using 93% lean ground beef. I buy this at Aldi, and I just purchased it yesterday. You can, of course, use 85%. I use a little bit higher percent because that'll give me less grease on my meatballs when I put them into the crock pot and cook them. First ingredient in is my hamburger. Now, did I mention it's 5 o'clock in the morning? Because I got up really early so I'd have enough time to film this. Next, we are going to add 1/3 cup of uncooked rice. And again, this is organic. I get this at Aldi. I love their rice. Now, I wasn't able to find the organic onions at my local Aldi. These came from Martin's Giant. But sometimes you have to go to several stores to get all organic. Now, I do raise my onions, but this year, they just didn't do very well. We're going to add a little milk, a little as in 1/8 of a cup of milk. Next is 1 egg, and as you can see from the bluish green color, we raise our own eggs, and I do only feed it organic feed. You can see how deep, dark orange my yolk is. I always pour that into a separate dish whenever I crack an egg. It's just an old habit I've had from living on a farm where we had a rooster and chickens that used to like to hide their eggs. We do not have any roosters, but it's just a habit that's hard to break. I was so excited to find this spice down at Costco. It, again, is organic, and it's a blend of salt, pepper, and garlic. Those are the 3 items we use most. So I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of the blend. And lastly, I'm going to add a little bit more garlic because, well, our family just loves garlic. So I'm going to use this side. You can either scoop it out or you can sprinkle. I'm going to sprinkle some on. These containers I got from Amazon, and they attach right onto a regular size ring for your jars that you can with. And those are the only ingredients that you need in there right now. We're going to add that pasta sauce on top when we put it in the crock pot. But right now, you just need to stir it up really well. I'm using a large scoop. I bought these originally from Pampered Chef. And I used to make these in my oven and put them in a casserole dish. But what I discovered was sometimes the rice just didn't cook as well. So what I do now is I broil them to make them a little bit brown, and then I put them in my crock pot to cook all day. I have leveled off the scoop, and I'm just going to put it on aluminum foil on a baking sheet. Now, you technically will have a flat spot on the bottom. It's fine. It will cook just as well. It has made 12 meatballs. Now, if you'd rather roll them with your hands, they're about 3 tablespoons each. Next thing I'm going to do is broil them. Not bake them, but broil them. If you have never used the broil feature of your oven, I highly recommend it. You're going to put it on the top shelf. Now for mine, I'm going to push broil, and it says high, and it will simply start. You want to keep the door to your oven cracked open. Don't shut that door. And when you broil, you always want to stand right here and watch it because it very quickly will brown. What I'm looking for is it to brown all of this side Then I will turn them over and brown the other side. You are not cooking them, so don't try to cook them thoroughly. That's what the crock pot's for. While these are browning, I'm actually packing my lunch for school, cleaning up the counter. To make these meatballs only takes 15 minutes of your morning. One side is brown. I'm going to turn them over and brown the other side. It only took about 3 minutes. All of my meatballs are lightly browned, and I'm going to place them in my crock pot. These already smell really good. Now the last thing I'm going to do is pour my pasta sauce on top. And it looks like it's a lot of sauce, but you're going to use this entire jar. It is 23.5 ounces, and just pour it all over those meatballs. Make sure they're all covered. Just like that. Then place your lid on your crock pot and set it for low and cook it all day long. When I come home from work, they are going to be ready. And at that point, all I need to do is add a salad and we are ready to go. So easy. And the best part, it is real food. And in 15 minutes, I got dinner cooking. I actually made some oatmeal for my chickens for breakfast, cleaned up the area, and packed my lunch. So for 15 minutes, is it worth prepping in the morning so you can walk in and be ready to eat? I think so. I am home from work and my porcupine balls are all finished. What I just did, I threw some cheese on there and I'm going to let that melt while I put together a salad. My favorite cheese blend is this one right here. It is Colby Jack, Monterey Jack, and cheddar cheese. And I am able to get this organic cheese blend from Aldi. So when I got home, I keep it in the freezer. This is actually frozen. All I did was dump out a handful and throw it in the crock pot. At this point, I'm going to make a very quick salad. Now, during the summer, I use my own fresh greens, but at this point of year, I don't have anything growing in my garden. So to make this salad, I start with a handful of organic spring mix. And then I add one of the romaine lettuce. Both of those come from Aldi. In fact, I get the carrots from there too. And with the carrots, I've learned to use my little food chopper because this thing is just fantastic. I put them in there and I blended it and it gives me a nice fine pieces of carrot without me having to put slices. One thing I don't like is crunching in my salad to the point where, you know, it's big chunks of carrot. So this is one way that I can make them into much smaller pieces. Oh, you can see there's one piece in there, but it cuts it up very nicely. Another thing I like to add is onion. Now I don't put the onions in right away because, well, Jim, he doesn't care much for onions in his salad, so I keep that separate. Shows you how it chopped up my carrots into a really nice fine mixture. Another item that I like to add to my fresh salads is apples, and I like to buy those from Aldi, and this is an organic Gala. Often I put in blueberries or raspberries, and although I have those at this point, I am saving those for breakfast. I'm going to slice some olives to add to our salad, and then the last thing I like to put on is some more of that cheese blend. The reason I like to make a large salad on Monday is that then for my lunch for the rest of the week, I already have it made and it's easy to pack up. In the time it took me to make that salad, the cheese has melted and boy, these look delicious. These porcupine balls came out wonderfully. Now let me cut one so you can see what it looks like in the center. That's where the rice is all tender. It is fully cooked. It's cheesy, it's saucy, and these are wonderful. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.